In terms of a timeline between monkey and cyberpunk edge runners, we're here in this uncertain, morally gray area where the steroid Olympics just dropped. Some 50-year-old dude that looks 70 claims to be 25, and a number of ailments, including alcoholism, can be prevented through nanoparticle gene editing. Okay, before we decide to reinvent eugenics through genetic enhancement, I want you to consider this. Why go on trying to fix something that used to be perfect? Sure, our path of evolution was at one point what was right, but the human body no longer needs to adapt to the environment. It no longer needs to fight, and we're left with all these useless traits that are more harmful than helpful. And so today, on The Poopy Show, I will give 5 really good reasons why the answer is not advancement. It's actually de-evolving. And to start off, why did we decide the right thing to do was to stand up? I know it's a boomer meme because I literally googled boomer human evolution cartoon to find this image, but think about it for a second. 6 million years ago, some wise guy went, I think this will be my thing from now on. And 4 million years later, all our great times 400 grandparents were fully bipedal. So skinny, you need to eat more. Which wasn't that bad of an idea at the time. Walking on 2 limbs expends less energy than walking on 4. So although you can't run as fast as most other mammals, you can run for longer, and your hands are free to carry stuff. Which at that point was quite a big deal. It still kind of is if you look at what we did to the Stanley Cup. That being said, was holding things and not getting tired worth it? Like for 21st century humans, it could have been if we'd taken more time with it. Because this change to bipedalism was too rapid to allow for a musculoskeletal system to properly adapt to the extra pressure and strain. Instead of being horizontal, our spines are vertical towers of cups and plates being balanced by the pathetic clown that is our pelvis. The discs are prone to slipping, the spine is susceptible to fractures, and hey, don't think I forgot about you. The pelvis we have right now is also not ideal because although being more narrow helps with walking on 2 legs, it sure isn't the best for the most essential function of any species, reproducing. And I understand maybe it would be fine if you worked on the back muscles more, but when? And why bother if most of us for 8 hours a day are sat down engineering clouds or whatever? I don't know what it is that you do, but I don't think I respect it. A fourth of the population experiences back pain regularly. And you think God gave you back problems? No, you silly needlessly vertical monkey. You did that to yourself. Evolution is a cruel mother that doesn't need you to be comfy. It just needs you to survive. And although many agree that walking on 2 legs started the chain reaction of what makes us human, we don't need it anymore. I mean, even our heart can't handle bipedalism, especially with our rising life expectancy. Just look at this. That pretty much concludes my manifesto, Bipedalism and its Consequences. On to the next issue, hair. The most prominent theory that explains our rapid balding is the savanna hypothesis, which states that it's for thermoregulation purposes. Hominids hunted for hours in the open savanna. No tools, by the way. But what's that? What's up? Hominids. They're standing up now and have bipedalism endurance on their side. That being said, waiting to tire out animals all day led to overheating, an issue which definitely needed addressing. Hair has guts to go. But how? While studies have found switches for some genes responsible for determining whether certain cells develop into sweat glands or hair follicles, the density of sweat glands in humans is 10 times higher than that of chimpanzees, so we have a very high cooling capacity. Still, why do I want my fur back? I won't be giving the no need for clothes, no more fast fashion pollution argument, because hair dye companies will just take over and de-evolve vanity, unfortunately. However, Mark Pago, a professor of evolutionary biology at the University of Reading, says, when you study our body heat over a 24-hour period, we lose more heat at night than we want to. And so the net effect of losing your fur is that we're in a sort of energy deficit at all times. And Mark Pago is fine in Reading, but I'm sure people in, I don't know, Glasgow would love some more fur to keep warm. See, this evolutionary process took place in the savannah. In London, I'm having to buy fake fur on account of not having any of my own. So everyone above these lines, fur. And sure, we developed to produce more brown fat so we don't lose too much energy, but what if I tell you this method of cooling has one more drawback? Humans heal 3 times slower than primates, and researchers argue that it's because of the density of our sweat glands. Additionally, because we lack fur, we need thicker skin. Thicker skin means wounds heal slower. I count that as another point for the monkey. All this brings us to number 3. As a whole, we're vulnerable as fuck. Now, it might just be another trade-off. And the highly theoretical but very plausible answer, it's our big brain. More specifically, it's the genes that control a type of white blood cells known as natural killer cells. All vertebrates have them and they play an important role in preventing diseases. But they also play an important role in controlling blood flow between a mother and her developing fetus. Peter Parham, a professor of cell biology at Stanford, explains that there are big differences between how NK cells behave in humans and primates. The kind of NK cells that are good for getting lots of blood to the developing fetus are not as good for dealing with infection, and vice versa. Chimps just have their fighting infection stats maxed out while humans have prioritized getting enough blood to the fetus so the brain can develop properly. And I have to say, not everyone agrees with this theory, but there's solid evidence behind this next big brain trade-off: weakness. Our brain uses 20% of the energy made available by the metabolism of the human body. This energy powers up close to 100 billion neurons. In comparison, chimps only have around 28 billion. Both human brains and muscles evolved more rapidly in humans than apes, but while our brains became more advanced, our muscles became weaker. A study was conducted in the Chinese Academy of Science, and the lead author concludes, "We were confused by the metabolic changes in human muscles until we realized that what other primates have in contrast to humans, is their enormous muscle strength. Because even the weakest ape is stronger than the strongest human." And she continues, "Our results suggest a special energy management in humans that allows us to spare energy for our extraordinary cognitive powers at a cost of weak muscle." And another study confirms that it's not our lifestyle, it's just genetic. And by the way, they kind of proved that by putting a group of macaque monkeys into a small indoor facility where they fed them the monkey version of junk food, and despite not moving around much, their muscles did not weaken. Now you might be thinking, but is gains worth it at the cost of being smart? And all I have to say to that is, you wouldn't be thinking that at all if you were a monkey. You'd be chilling with 17-inch biceps, hella bananas, and jungle talk on auto scroll. So next, feet. 25% of all your bones are in your feet. For why? That's just one less than your hand, yet your foot is no hand, is it? Look at this atrocity. We have the same bones that chimps have in their feet. Chimps' feet just developed to grab and hold on to stuff, and ours adapted to push us off the ground. And I already rejected bipedalism and mentioned how important holding stuff is. So all I have to say is, you long for these feet. The dopamine you get when you pick something off the floor with your foot proves it. No study needed. And that pretty much sums up the issues I have with the human body. Before I end the video, I need to say, I've done a lot of comparisons between humans and primates because they're our closest relatives. They're the closest to what humans once were. But all organisms on Earth are equally evolved. It's just different adaptations, and they all make sense no matter how much I want to go back to walking on my knuckles. I just thought I needed to say this. And here's something I shouldn't need to say. There's no going back to previous version option. Because even after all my yapping, it would be unwise. Humans were not top of the food chain. The way we survived was by being slightly more clever than other animals. So if humans stayed monkey, we just would not have stayed. But it's not all bad, you know. We can't effectively digest grass anymore and still have useless grass and raw meat chewing teeth for some reason. But we can, drink milk now, I guess. Not all of us, but yeah, that's a fairly recent thing. Who knows, we might get a better spine somewhere along the line. Or with the rapidly declining birth rates in some countries, evolution might push our species males to turn into some sort of purse demon so we can be like a less grotesque version of the anglerfish. Possibilities are endless, as long as we work with the pre-existing form. Which brings me to a truly glorious evolution. The Gamersubs tubs we all know and love have evolved into Gamersubs Premium Energy, which you can now try for free thanks to the Christmas in July offer. When you buy 1 tub of Gamersubs, you get a can of Gamersubs Premium Energy, an Anime Mrs. Shaker, and AFK samples for free. And that's just if you get one. These are the other offers. Looks good to me. Get them while they're hot. Or cold. They're better as a cold beverage, and it's a winter and July sale, so. But use my code Poopy for an extra 10% off. Come on, I know you want to type Poopy in the website somewhere. Okay, bye.